Hey guys, Professor Bell, Comic Book University. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, issue number 3. This does not happen in the comic book. It's fine. Lots of other things happen. But I have something really mean to say about the comic book. First, let's get started with who actually made the book. This is Mother of Exiles Part 3. Tom Taylor is the writer, Juan Cabal is the artist, Nolan Woodard is the color artist, VC's Travis Lanham on letters. The cover artist is Andrew C. Robinson, and there's no variant cover, but Stan Lee created Spider-Man with Steve Ditko. Alright, so boom shakalaka laka boom, we got rumor. A friend of mine at the comic book store was like, oh, it's just Aunt May. I'm glad that he was wrong. I totally understood where he was coming from, but I'm very glad he was wrong, because that would have been a terrible idea. This character, Rumor, is actually much older. I like we're not getting an origin story here, but we understand what her powers are. And it's kind of cool. And she says at one point, I've been doing this a lot longer than you. And then at another point she says, I'm really sneaky. Okay, cool. Well, boom. If that's the case, that explains why nobody's ever heard of her before. Because she is such a well-kept secret. She is just a rumor. That's cool. That's fair. She doesn't have a flashy costume. Whatever, it is what it is. I'm cool with that. That sounds all right. The art in the comic book was pretty cool. There were some parts I didn't like. Realistically, there's only one part that I didn't actually like, and I can show you that part. It's any scene with this girl in it, because her the plaid, the stripes on her shirt, I'd rather that just be a solid color shirt. I mean, when they just do, it's like, okay, here we go, let's just put a matte design over top. Like, here's my rule, and just blah, 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 and turn it sideways, blah, 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 with a T-square. Say, it's like, it's really lazy. It's really lazy. And all of the art in this is beautiful. So to come across and see the plaid designs in there just practically stamped on, that really brings down the quality. It's like all this cool stuff happening in this panel, and all I can focus on every time that I see her with that shirt, it's like lines are perfectly north and south and east and west, for crying out loud. I could pull out a compass and, I forget what it's called, the tap line. If you guys ever did construction, I did with my father when I was a real little kid. But anyway, yeah, the big long line with the chalk, the blue chalk on it. You make it taut, and then you just tap it, and then you can see a clear, straight line that you can cut on or put down your the top of your frame on. So anyway, it killed me seeing that. As far as the story itself, it's too out there. There are too many different characters. Look, if you're introducing a new, like, this is one of the things with Marvel and DC Comics. You see a lot of different, or you see a lot of the same characters over and over again. Spider-Man, same character. A bunch of different versions of Spider-Man. That's cool. We just have to learn a backstory. But they've all, for the most part, got the same powers. You don't have to do a lot of serious introspective thought when you're talking about, a Marvel comic book or a DC comic book. You really don't. You're going to read one of the indie comic books. Yes, that includes Image in this discussion. Well, then, you know that you're usually going to have to go in there and be like, okay, let me pay some serious attention, because all of these characters are going to be new for me. It's always good to start off a new comic book with new characters and only really focus on one character at a time. Make it seem like everybody else is a backdrop, but put in a little blurb in the beginning about, oh, this character, here's his face, does this. This character, here's her face, she does that. And, that would help. That would help. But when you're talking about a Marvel book, and the only character in the book that we're familiar with, the entire book, is Spider-Man. And you've got this new character, and this new bad guy, and this new person that's got to be rescued, but apparently she's kind of important to the story. And, Johnny Storm shows up for a little while, but he goes and he talks to someone. I'm pretty sure that's Boomerang. I'm positive that's Boomerang. But at the same time, it's like, and that scene it's funny, it's hysterical, but it's very short. And there's just a lot going on with a bunch of new characters, and I just wasn't ready to, and you could tell by my voice, I'm sick again, whatever. You could, I don't know, man. It's a hard read. The story was really weird. There were parts in here where, you know, like what are the best parts of Spider-Man comic books? His interactions with his regular, family or extended friends and things like that, right? His witty banter, which it really falls short in this issue. But one of the things is also him overcoming these great odds. Spider-Man is a street-level hero. He just happens to be the toughest. Well, Luke Cage is probably the toughest street-level hero. I'm usually not a big fan of seeing him taking on people like the Juggernaut. I'm not a fan because his power set has always been that he's nowhere near able to do that. When he went after the Thing way back in the day, okay, I get it, but anyway, I seeing him going against like hyper-powered guys and then going back to the streets to fight regular criminals is like, you don't make that transition so easily. It's a weird thing, and he seems most out of place in the Avengers as opposed to with the new Netflix version of the Defenders, to me at least. But Spider-Man is one of those few characters that can make that transition. Why? Because he's very self-aware of the fact that he's a street-level hero. I fight muggers. I stop bank robbers. That's what I do. When an armored car gets hijacked, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I've got some villains, but Thanos isn't, I'm not on Thanos' level. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't do stuff like that. And then when he does, if the writer's really good, they show the struggle. Any little thing, and like, just climbing 3 miles up the side of a building or the inside of an elevator shaft. I know 3 miles sounds weird, right? It happens. With a bullet wound on the opposite side of your appendix. That's usually one of those moments where you stop and you say, I have to milk this. And not milk it in a bad way, but milk it in the sense of those scenes where Spider-Man is overcoming tremendous odds, carrying 2 people with him, those scenes where he's going to stop, where, it's like he's holding on and he's thinking to himself, crap, I can't do this, but I have to, and then when he gets to the top, the absolute collapse, just something like that, instead of just, it's relegated to a panel or so. It was really, it's beyond a missed opportunity. The things that happen in this comic, and it's Tom Taylor, man. Like, this dude, we know this dude can write his ass off. But somehow this one issue alone, even though the previous issue was pretty good, the first issue was top-notch. This issue was so bad for me. Here comes the really bad thing I've got to say. With all the Spider-Man books that are out right now, I know that if the budget comes tight, I know that this is the book that I can drop. I now know that this is the book that I can say, I got to start, making those, stretching that penny, stretching that dollar a little longer. I'm going to have to drop this book. If there's a Spider-Man book I'm going to drop, it's this one, and that's not a good feeling. The best feeling in the world is say, there are 4 Spider-Man comic books out now. I don't know which one I'm going to drop. I don't think I can drop. I might have to drop the Avengers, man, because of Spider-Man. I can't trust Spider-Man. And right now, I'm just like, no, pretty sure I know exactly which one I'm going to drop. That doesn't mean I'm not going to read the next issue. Of course I'm going to read the next issue because I believe the next issue is going to be good. But this issue wasn't. And it hurts that it was so close to the beginning of this run. Issue number 3, you could have a bad issue at like issue number 9 and it probably won't hurt you so bad. You should probably wait until you're in the double digits. Not number 10, but 11 and on. Just be one of those things where it's like, oh, well, it's been going for a while. They deserve to be able to have a not so great issue. This was a bad issue. I wasn't feeling this one at all. There was nothing that happened here that made me go, oh, cool. The best I could say is the interaction between Boomerang and Johnny Storm. And even then, it was just so brief that it was forgettable. I remembered it while I was talking in this video. That's not a good sign. Anyway, guys, it's sad news, sad day for me. Professor Bill, Comic Book University, class dismissed.